Thank you very much. I don't know how I'm going to answer for the ANC in Ekurhuleni, because firstly, they didn't write to us. They wrote to their own ANC. But I was laughing yesterday. I was with Vuyani when I saw it on Twitter, and I was so excited by that letter of the ANC and what the ANC is asking for, because in a typical street language, I was like, my boys are suffocating them, because they thought they were going to deal with small boys who they will just run over them, and they're showing them flames. So we've got them by the things, and they're screaming, and we're squeezing very hard, not play. So why must I complain? If they take out the EFF in Ekurhuleni, so be it. It's not because the EFF did anything wrong. The EFF refused to be part of corruption. They refused. Jongezizwe says in that letter, this relationship is going to destroy the ANC, because the EFF has not given them any space. So it has taught them a lesson. So you can't then say you really have a problem with people who hate you for doing the right thing. They're not saying the EFF is not delivering to the people. The EFF confronted them in a very harsh way about how they are engaged in the sabotage of electricity in Jamestown through their manager, who's an ANC aligned, deliberately switching off electricity so there could be revolts by communities. But because the EFF is there on the ground and knows how they operate, they tell them, we know it's you who did the following things. Why would you say you're part of government and go and engage in electricity sabotage against your own people? The leadership we have here in Gauteng is quite all right. We're happy. They must continue to suffocate the ANC and everybody else. They are not saying they are incompetent. They are not saying they are corrupt. They are not saying they got Fosloras. We went marching to the graveyard. When we marched to the graveyard, we passed a leaking sewer system there. Went to the graveyard. I just looked at them. I looked at the sewer. I said, what is this? And then we went to the graveyard. When we came back, the sewer was fixed by the EFF leadership. Not application is Saturday, the offices are closed. Graveyard, bury, 30, 40 minutes, 1 hour, the longest. Come back, the sewer was fixed. We are hated because we will do what we say we will do. There's one white lady who did a video and said, I'm very scared of the EFF because they will do what they say they will do. That's what makes me be scared of them. So we will do what we say we'll do. And the ANC hates that. I asked TK many times. I asked Panyaza many times. Why would you not clean the city of Joburg? Something that we all see every day. It's a mess. Go to the North taxi rank now. There is a pile of dead there. We said, we gave them Joburg. They are running Joburg. We've got an MMC of a public city center. They are completely, repeatedly we told them we're not in a coalition with them. We're not in a corruption coalition. We're not. We're running solo. We're doing our own thing. What is our thing? Services to our people. And that's what we're going to do. We don't want corruption. We don't want these leaders to meet officials of the municipality outside the office of the municipality. It's not our Malema position. It's what this leadership of the EFF said. I must communicate that no councillor of the EFF, no leader of the EFF must meet officials outside the municipal offices. Officials must not be allowed to be met outside offices. If they are being asked to be met outside offices, they must ask their agenda. They must also go with their PAs into those meetings to understand what is the purpose of the meeting. I don't meet people outside municipal arrangement. I don't meet municipal people anyway. I don't do it. No one can claim that nonsense with me. I meet in EFF meetings. That is the beginning and the end of the meetings. That's why they want to falter us anyhow they want. They can't find us. So the biggest problem is that the EFF is doing what it said it will do in Ekurhuleni, and the ANC is not happy. Let them remove it. We're not obsessed with power. Remove it. We'll remove you in Joburg. We'll remove you in Mohali City. We'll remove you everywhere. It's a war they are calling for. We're ready for it. We're not obsessed with positions in government. It will be good for the EFF to stay there. For the first time since 1994, our people will begin to taste development. DA was screaming when we took over government. One morning, trucks were entering townships to go and remove the waste trucks, the rubble. The waste trucks went into the township to remove waste. But we're being sabotaged. Look, now we're out of power. The trucks are going in. Sabotaged by who? You were in power, you were controlling the trucks. The first thing we did when we arrived in Ekurhuleni was, why are these trucks parked here? All of them go to the townships. Go and remove waste there. And we did exactly that. The people of Tembisa, the people of Jimiston, everywhere were happy that for the first time there is waste management taking place in Ekurhuleni. That's EFF for us. So why would the DA not look for a party like that? If it's about delivering to our people. What is this hatred of the EFF so much that it must be stopped? Stop the EFF is stop development to black people. That's the call about. The call is about stopping development into going into the townships and to black people. That's why they say stop the EFF. No one asked the question. If anything, you laugh about it and you are happy about it. No one asked the question, what did the EFF do wrong? What did they do that you hate them so much? No one can say. No one can say the EFF has finished the whole budget of a road. There is no road. We have no such a track record. You know, in the EFF we are driven by the founding manifesto and our election manifestos. That's what we are there for. We are not there for any other thing. Our organization work on mandate and accountability. When you are given an assignment, you must execute it to the best of your ability. If you fail to execute it, come and give an account as to why have you failed to execute that responsibility. We cannot just be another party where people are assigned former national chair. Go and bring a bus. One bus, you are told in January. It takes you the whole 6 bus. To you show your leadership skills and capabilities. Show the organization your worth of the position you occupy. You don't do anything for 6 months. And then the organization must not do anything about you. We will become another ANC which has lost control over its public representatives. It can't tell them anything. If when you say do this, they say come and do it yourself. So I still want to find out what is it that we have done to the DA moonshot, moon pact, moon arrival, whatever they call it. I don't know. I'm still, because at least tell me my problem so I can work on fixing it. I don't know what is the problem. I really don't know. The EFF will have the editors interaction because we are the only organization that is available to you guys. Where you ask anything you want to ask, we answer. Because we believe in accountability. And that's what we're going to be doing, if that was the question on editors. What was the question? Oh, You know the lesson. Yeah, that's why you need editors to talk about that, because there you'll talk to me as an individual, but as a leader, but individual, that type of interaction, because now I speak for all these guys. But one of the lessons I learned is that I will never form another political party. I will never ever do that. It's the most difficult thing ever. It's so frustrating, it's so difficult, and when you form it coming from some sort of an organized background where you know everybody knows what is expected of them, and then you now have to now start afresh everything, the ABCs of it. I don't think I will ever repeat that. It's extremely taxing. It's very, very difficult. I see comrades all the time saying they are forming political parties. I was marching along Carl Niehaus the other day, and he was saying to me, how do you do it, man? Because it's difficult. This thing is very difficult, my chief. That's all I can say. But hang in there, maybe you'll get it right someday. I personally, I never had a desire to form a party. I left. To be honest, I left. I went home, and then these guys came to invite me back. My intention was never to form a party, and they say we are a cult. We want people to follow us, but I never wanted to form a party. Why? If I'm a cult, do I say to you bye? I said bye. I left, and I went to my farm, and then the mistake I did was to take a picture in my cabbages, which appeared in the front page of City Press the same Sunday. The ANC was supposed to be in the front page City Press for January 8. For the first time since 1994, they could not occupy the front page of City Press because it was my farm in the front page there. Then Praveen said, why still having a farm? I thought this farm is gone. Then they came. I knew, and you know, one man who called me and said, don't do it, Julius, is Stan Matabat, who called me and said, please don't do it. It doesn't matter whether it takes 5 years, doesn't matter whether it takes 10 years. You are still young. This thing, we're going to find a way of correcting it. It will be corrected. And it was not, I didn't want these things. So if you say I'm a cult, I would have said, no, you expelled me, I'm forming a party. I didn't say that. I left. I went home to the villages, and then you came to fetch a villager and invited it back. Now, this is a problem of your own creature, which had resolved itself. And then you keep on chasing it and chasing it and chasing it, and then you think we can't respond. So it took ANC how many years? 80-something years, if I'm not wrong, to get 1994. And you look at that, you're like, hey, this thing is not easy. We're fighting against a well-organized system, which will not make it easy for anyone who's not consistent with what the Oppenheimers want. The ANC get formed, it becomes a lull in the 30s, and then it gets back to be radicalized by the Youth League. And then the Oppenheimers, upon realizing this thing is taking shape, they infiltrated. The first infiltration was to get to the white-only Communist Party to align itself with the ANC and dilute its Pan-Africanism. It was a Native National Congress. Dilute this thing, take it over, write policies for it. Then from there, they never gave it a break. Every political development in South Africa has got the Oppenheimer's handwriting on it, including the formation of Parliament of South Africa. The Oppenheimers were members of the first Parliament of South Africa. So every system that gets designed of politics in South Africa is the Oppenheimers. But there is only one thing they have no control over, and that is the EFF. And that's what gives them a nightmare. That's why keep the EFF out. comes from there. We cannot allow the people we don't control to have access to power, because we'll lose power. The Democratic Party's merger with the National Party was the decision of the Oppenheimers who had formed the Democratic Party. And everything subsequent to that, that woman, Mampela Rampela, now Herman Mashaba, Musima Imani, Rise Africa, Shiluba, all of them is Oppenheimers. And then after doing all these pockets, they say, yeah, now you are there. Come here. Go to the moon. You must get into this thing and go to the moon together. We are not going to any moon with anyone. We are remaining here. They can go to the moon alone. We are not part of the moon. So Oppenheimer has got a problem with the EFF because they've got no access to the EFF. So that's where the biggest problem comes from. Now that they don't have a control over the EFF, they pass a law and say, no, there is a law called political party funding. We want to know who's financing these people. Then the EFF says, you want to know that. And then you put a threshold of 90,000. The Oppenheimers want to know who's financing everybody because they want to know everybody. Let's break the 90,000. Donate 30 rand. Then we don't account to the Oppenheimers about who gave how much. You are not under any Oppenheimer's obligation to declare. Give us 30 rand. When you want to give us more than 100,000, we tell you, hey, don't do that. There is a white man here called Oppenheimer who's waiting for that report, wanting to know who's financing the EFF so that that person can be chased and be destroyed. We're not going to allow it. The Oppenheimers have made their match. They plan this way, we plan that way to counter them because we don't want to be accountable to the Oppenheimers. That's what this EFF is about. So under the circumstances, if someone was to say to me he wants to form a party like Ace Makashule is threatening to form a party, whoever has got access to that guy, just tell him the little resources he's got remaining, he must look for a plot and look for goat and just look after goat and have peace. Even me, when that time comes, I always tell them, if Floyd go and meet and resolve they don't want me, I won't waste time. I will leave. I will leave peacefully. I won't put up a fight because I know what they will be getting themselves in. At least we'll sit at the back and be supporters and be like Dalimpovu and be cold and sit there and listen. From there you leave, go home, peace. You have no task, no nothing, but you want the stadium filled up on the 29th of July, because if we don't do it, we'll be saying, you see, we left them an intact organization, they are killing it now. You know, he speaks with authority. I'll be in that arrangement. Where are we sitting here? I will not be bothered whether there are chairs or not. When I arrive, there must be chairs. So I've played my role, and when that time comes, I'll live peacefully. I will not form another political party. I grew up under very good men and women. Some of them died. They didn't have positions, but they died very good people with good standing in society, and they required no position. I think I've reached a point where you can't do anything. Where some of the organizations I come from, they once did a t-shirts of former presidents and then removed my picture. It had pictures, and their own members were like, man, this is a distortion. You might not like the guy, but tell the truth. Give an honest historical account. You can't rub me off whether you like it or not. Even in the EFF, whether we like it or not, when you produce a picture of this whole Uncle Tom's hall, can you kunene ko mo picture mo? You can't rub it off. Hey, remove Kenny Kunen. It will be a distortion. You like him or you don't like him, he was there. Give correct account of history. And when that account is given, my name will be there. I would have made a contribution. That's enough. And that's what we are here for. Next year, we are going to the conference of the EFF, December. So the EFF must start booking the halls, accommodation, this and that, now. Because somebody likes it or not, there must be a conference of the EFF. The EFF holds conferences. It's not Action SA. It holds conferences, it gives reports, it holds elections, leaders get elected. In these 10 years, we've managed to build such a formidable organization with internal mechanism of democracy and of holding the leadership accountable. Thank you.